What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm here with Hoop. I'm here with Big T. We're sweating golf. We're sweating some midday MLB as well. We'll kick it off with you first, Hoop. How is the day going over there?
The day is going well. So, the wife had some landscaping she wanted updated. So your boy had to go out and buy a freaking axe. So I was axing up some roots. So I removed about 3 bushes, pretty decent sized bushes, replanted some stuff. It's hot as hell. I literally was just dripping sweat. Took a shower, feeling refreshed, ready to break down this MLB slate with my boys.
Yeah, Hoop, listen, that's not a bad thing, right? Just throw like a tool belt on, act like you did a lot of work around 7 o'clock, and the wife will definitely want the bench. I mean, you look like you're working hard. The ladies can't resist that, Hoop.
She saw me working hard for her. Like, she felt, I should have taken a picture. I was literally, it looked like I was in a swimming pool. It's very humid, not much wind, not many clouds. It was a grind out there. And if I don't get rewarded tonight, I'm going to tell you what, it's the last time I'm doing that shit.
Yeah, you take that picture, send it to her so it can marinate, right, for a couple hours till she gets home, and then you get back quick. Big T, how are you doing? You shipped 126K, I think, a couple days ago. Absolutely crushing it. How is everything going besides your Denver Nuggets, who are down 0-2 over there?
It's a good day. Anytime I come on a Thursday, usually I see Mangone's mug, JT, or someone else usually on here. Today I get to see my boy Hoop, who I never get to see anymore. Always on the premium show. Hoop's usually on the earlier show during baseball. It's nothing good. I like seeing those sunglasses up on the hat. I get to see him next week on the lake house. I'm excited.
Here's the real question. Now that you mentioned the sunglasses, the Mariners hat. Have the Mariners won yet, Hoop? Your kids' baseball team. I heard like a week and a half.
Yeah, we did a baseball show. Hoop said earlier we haven't done one. I remember the Mariners hat now. Coming together.
The Mariners got their first W last night, 9-4 win. It was a very solid victory. Had some big hits.
How was the coaching? Did you get any good substitutions or anything?
If I turn this thing around, I have to be the favorite for Coach of the Year because I was starting with some slim pickings from the beginning. I got a couple of these kids. They're starting to get some hits. If I can get a couple more wins and I don't win Coach of the Year, I'm going to be very pissed.
Have you cracked down on the spin rates for the other team and is that one of the secrets you've had, Hoop? You see the spin rates are up. You told them no more sticky substance over there on the other side.
Yeah, so that's part of the success. So we use the pitching machine. So I was able to tinker with the machine a little bit, and I brought the spin rate down by about 500 RPM, and these kids are just lacing line drives now. So the decline in spin rate from the pitching machine has resulted in more hits for the Mariners.
Yeah, there you go. So the Mariners are starting to get a little streaky. They're kind of streaky.
The Mariners to get hot on this TV because I stacked them up this afternoon. I need them to come through.
I did. I had the Mariners yesterday. I went to them today, and I had Mitch Haniger and Seager. So not too bad. I'm on the bubble right now. You
probably got a similar team to me because I'm teetering right around the bubble land too. I need one more push here in this Mariner game.
Same here. Let's make it Kyle Seager. I think you have him too. I believe you have Seager.
I honestly don't know. I know I got Haniger. I don't know. I probably got Seager, I'm sure.
Seager would be the game. So hopefully he
Speaking of Big T, I know you kind of touched on Big T's win the other night, which, it's like, the 100K wins are obviously nothing now. But I don't know if Big T noticed, but his boy was right there. And I knew
I saw your name was right there the whole time in fifth because we were right there the whole way. I
was right there. We always talk about it. I really don't look to the end. I was getting close to hitting the sheets. I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and pull it up, see where I'm at before bed, see if I need to stay awake. Big T saved me, probably earned me another hour of sleep that night because I pulled it up. I saw Big T's in first, and I shut the app down and went to bed. It was very, very simple.
That team was good. It was like a pack of people because you weren't that far from the next tier, but my team was so good that night. It was a 0 too. They always
won by 30 or so, right?
Who?
I had to win one by 30. That team was just
there was a few at bats. Once I finally started sweating it late, because I'm like, Hoop, I wouldn't have even noticed, honestly, if the chat doesn't send a bunch of messages in the Discord about it. I got in there and thought I thought it was my Angels team, and it wasn't even my damn Angels team. I got in there and I was fading Angels, so I think it was Rendon or someone came up with 2 or 3 on, and if he would have hit a bomb, I think it would have got interesting, but That was the only point that it got super interesting.
Yeah.
The crazy part is, so I won like every tournament. Somehow I got another freaking second in a qualifier. Some dude only played the qualifier. No, so I guess it's a positive and a negative. The positive, he didn't play anything else, so I won the other ones. Negative, somehow the bastard shipped the qualifier.
Here's my question: this Dickerson turd, like every single site, like loves this Dickerson guy. I played him.
Did he get hurt? What happened?
He got hurt that game, but I played him a bunch prior to that. And the dude just like never gets fantasy points. Like literally, he's got to be hitting like one.
Did you have him in that team too?
Yeah, I had him.
Both had his sorry ass get 0.
Yeah, I had him too.
The best part about DFS is how it works sometimes. So you guys make fun of Dickerson. He's one guy that like I feel like always treats me well, and I haven't been
really.
Yeah. So funny.
I don't think he's registered a fantasy point when I've clicked his name. Like dead serious, and I played him a lot this year.
Yeah, I definitely play some Dickerson. So that it's funny how that works because I think he's a guy that always gets the job done for me. I don't play him too often, but when I do it, it does work out. I do have
Uncle T getting it done on the day slate today. I mean, a bomb and a triple. I mean, you got to like it when Uncle T gets it done on the field.
Uncle T, he's on the field playing?
You haven't seen that picture, Uncle T, that Rogers from Detroit with the stash?
I haven't seen it.
He's got a bomb and a triple. Uncle T out there today, a punt catcher.
Oh, yeah, he does look like Uncle T.
The chat starts sending it every time in there when that guy does something.
Yeah, I considered him today, but I went to the other guy, Haas or whatever his name is. I definitely considered going to. If I knew it looked like
catcher on FanDuel, he's 1% on that FanDuel team. That's why I was doing decent.
Is he 1%? Jeez, that's crazy. But okay, do want to say, guys, please hit that like, hit that subscribe for us. We got 200 watching. Helps us out a ton. You can check out all the content that we have over here at Run Pure Sports. So check all of that out. You do not want to miss it. I do also want to mention we got tons and tons of content over here, and use that code RPSHeater25 to get 25% off. And we have the Euro soccer slate coming up. And Tony, I'm going to go to you because I don't know too much about it. I do know it's a month long. I pulled up the schedule today, and there's like starts off with a showdown slate tomorrow, and then we get like 3-game slates. It seems like a lot of the days that start out for soccer, I assume they're during the day too. So we'll be getting a ton of DFS action. What's some of your thoughts on this? I feel like you played some soccer in your day, right? You kind of met like guys like Rubio through that. So talk about this Euro slate that we're going to be having over this next month.
Yeah, I love it. It'll be every day. It's basically the World Cup just for the year, a lot of the European teams. If I say anything stupid, people can laugh at me, but I think that's what it is. I know it's like the World Cup, but obviously, like I don't think anybody outside of like
you're free rolling on like slaughtering this stuff because of the initial show we did with the NASCAR and the trucks. Like you're free rolling, slaughtering like who's playing in events. Like you don't have to worry about it.
I do just dive in. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? That they make fun of me. I'm fine with that.
I think the best part about mentioning the trucks is Big T got a truck today. Big Trucks is back.
Yeah. Big T, big trucks. Like, man, that thing's looking sexy.
I need to get the RPS logo on the side of it, but yeah, I mean, so is Mangone, are you going to do that show with K Fallick and Rubio?
I'm willing to do it. I will. I think again, I won't know anything about soccer. I will host.
Yeah, you can host though, and you know how to pick winners.
Well, here's the thing. I'll also ask the right questions too for like the novices, right? Like I don't mind sometimes when you get someone hosting up a show or like someone that knows DFS, but asking the right questions of things that can help you out, right? Because I don't think a lot of people play soccer, right? It's obviously not one of the biggest in the lobby. And hopefully I can help provide some insight with that.
It's fun too, because you get that. I like getting some action in stuff I don't know a ton about, like soccer and other things as we've gone along and run pure. But so you get action every single day. And as the tournament goes, you start to know the players. I mean, right now I couldn't name a single damn player like always. But by the end of the month, I guarantee I know the teams to stack, the better teams, the players, the value guys, just like everything. You can always pick it up. And guys like Rubio, we got Jaime working like always. I think Rubio's doing some projections too. Jaime's doing some cores and stuff like that. I know K Fallick's really good in soccer. So we got a good team. I'm not scared to get in there and learn from these guys and pick some winners. I love it. Next week, me and Hoop going to be at the lake house. We're going to play golf. We're going to play soccer. We're going to do all that crap. And it's good. That's what's fun. I love getting in there, reading our people's content. You get it all, like we always say, one price at Run Pure. We do the same thing. We're going to be out at that lake house. I don't know shit about soccer. We're going to be looking at the write-ups and the cores and the playbooks, and we're going to be building teams and rooting on some soccer, whether Hoop likes it or not.
Yeah, and speaking of write-ups, Rubio, I think it took him like 6 days. I don't know if he
he's been stroking to that article too for like a month. Like he literally fondles himself to his article, and it's a good article. I'll give it to him. He's been talking it up. He worked on it for a week. Lots of good info in there. He's definitely pulled the lotion out at least a few times to it.
Hoop, have you checked out the article yet? I plan on doing it, but I've heard a lot about this famous article of Rubio. So it sounds like Big T is going to make you play some soccer this coming up weekend.
Well, I'll be in the soccer streets. It's to me, it's a painful sport. I'm not gonna lie, painful sport for me at DFS. Like I want to at least be able to get some enjoyment out of watching it.
You're gonna get enjoyment when we pick winners next week.
Yeah, exactly. I just cannot freaking watch soccer. Like soccer is the one sport I cannot put on the freaking TV. So I'm gonna be in there. I'm going to grind this article. I'm going to grind the playbooks. I'm going to pick some winners, but man, soccer is a painful sport to watch.
I agree on the painful to watch, but we'll be grinding and watching.
Got to talk about Titletown too. This guy, does he ever take a negative EV bet? For like months, he's been saying this, Hoop. Like, oh, anytime there's 3 main events, I'll stack 2 of them and I'll beat you. Oh, and I've been making fun of him like usual. Today he writes, I don't think I'm going to be able to take the bet. There's just too much value in other spots. You big pussy, Titletown.
What's his excuse? What's the reasoning?
There's too much value out there now. He can't do it all of a sudden. Oh, Titletown.
Oh, so what? Some cheap guys got like a replacement or something. They're locks. Oh, I see what he. Okay.
Yeah.
Title, get in there.
Come on, Title.
Get in there.
We had an agreement.
Redeemed herself.
I'll say this: I didn't think we'd find someone more of a nit than me and Hoop. We may have found one, right? Title is a big
yeah.
nit.
Of all things, I mean, I played that dude on a deathbed and got made fun of for freaking 3 months now for falling. I didn't make it. No excuses. I said he beat me. I let everyone make fun of me. No, now he gets a little value and he's got to get out of our bet.
No, I mean, I don't think he should be allowed to get out of the bet. I mean,
what a puss.
If it's a bet that you made for long term, kind of, I feel like
we said it every time there's 3 main events, he stacks twice and we play for $2,000. That was our bet.
I mean, listen.
Last time I kicked his ass, of course, and now he's scared.
I might have to pull some receipts up. I can do the digging in the Discord, Tony, but I think you have a good point. We might be able to argue this. Title is too busy at the Bucks game tonight. Let's do.
Is he there tonight? Because I need the Bucks to get me 1 W. They're just getting pounded nightly for me.
He's at the game.
The Bucks are getting pounded. You guys say I never take L's. That's because I was picking a lot of W's in previous playoffs. I'm taking L's this playoffs. The Nuggets and the Bucks.
Oh, the Suns are my biggest L for sure. I mean, I need your Nuggets to show up, man.
The worst part is, everyone's gonna laugh at me when I say this, and I don't care. I still don't think the Suns are any good, but they're just pounding.
I don't either.
I don't know why you guys don't think they're. I mean, I've liked them since like the regular season. I definitely jumped. I didn't jump on them as much in the playoffs, like I probably should have. The Lakers thing scared the crap out of me, and then I thought the price was like crazy. I thought it was a little too deep. I thought it should have been like -140, -150, not the -200. But Suns are definitely proven that they deserve that -200 tag that they got at the start of the series. So. Do you guys think they get it done in Denver? Like,
I'm sticking to my guns. I'm coming back with the Bucks tonight and the Nuggets tomorrow, or whenever. Do they play tomorrow? Whenever they play again.
Yeah, they play tomorrow.
The Nuggets, the Bucks, dude. The Bucks, they suck. Giannis is so bad. You've been right all along about Giannis. He sucks. I got Title close to admitting it on yesterday's show. Like he was very close to admitting that Giannis is not going to win championships. He fell short of fully admitting it, but it's just easy to guard them. Like, I mean, it's very easy to guard them in the playoffs. Like in their toes, like Middleton sucks. I mean, it's
the worst part though. I mean, what is worse than this? I literally was right about Giannis. I told you Middleton sucked early in the year. Yeah. I loved Kyrie. I was the original Kyrie fan, and now I'm the opposite way, just getting owned.
Yeah, that's
what happened to me, man.
You know better.
I don't know why you jumped ship, but I
mean, it literally breaks my heart. Now tonight I got to root for Milwaukee again. It's painful.
Tony, I would have bet the series against you with the Nets. The problem was the difference.
You didn't. No, Hoop. Mangone didn't bet either one of these series versus me. He was nervous.
No. I said reason why. Why on earth would I bet you to win the series when I could just win the title or win the East? There's no reason to not just make
big T bucks. You could have got those big T bucks.
Big T bucks are way tastier than DraftKings dollars. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I should have thought about that equity, but you know, it is what it is. I'm perfectly okay with it. I also have a lot already invested in the Nets, so I was like, I don't need to reinvest more into it. And I didn't want Big T to flip on the other side and be like, yeah, I want the Bucks like plus 600 on the way back. Like, I didn't want that. Like, that would have definitely hurt, especially if Giannis somehow did do it.
Oh God, Giannis blows. Oh God, he's bad.
Bad. I mean, the free throws. I mean, he is atrocious out there. I mean, atrocious.
The most shocking part to me is he can't guard anyone either. Durant is embarrassing him.
He's getting worked on both ends. I mean, that last game was the most embarrassing thing I think I've seen in the NBA playoffs in a while. But I mean, this is your prototypical bounce back spot for a team like the Bucks to win tonight. I'm just too big of a donkey. I mean,
they can't win tonight. Oh God!
I've already bet.
Do you guys jump on it? Like, are you jumping on Bucks 3.5?
I think they should win by a bunch tonight. Hoop's got to get in. Hoop's getting in tonight. We're starting the Lake House mojo. Let's go.
Oh no! I already bet the Nets money line, and I keep putting more.
No,
I'm too big of a donkey to bet the other way. I'm on the Nets in a big way tonight. I continue to put more because the number keeps improving. I think the number you're going to give me plus 145 on the Nets to win. Like, yeah, I'm taking that. I don't care.
Yeah, I still haven't bet it. I would lean betting the Bucks if I do, but I will say if I bet the Bucks and like they do lose and I'm like, oh, I got the net stuff and I'm locked up 3-0. If I lose a little, whatever, not the end of the world, but I would like to win my money, obviously. So 3.5 though, I definitely wish it was closer. I wish it was more of a pick 'em, which I feel like it should be closer. I feel like it should be 1.5.
That's why it's not, because they're gonna win this game by double digits.
Yeah, they could, but I mean, give me that.
You got to get in. You still got time. You got to reverse course.
I'm not. I mean, the plus 145, it's just too good of a number.
This game and the Nuggets tomorrow is like the best betting spots of all time. Like, there's just such good spots.
What about tonight? Do you feel any good about the Clippers and Jazz? And like, I mean,
no, I mean, I like Utah again, but I don't have a strong feeling that one.
Do you have any?
That was the only one I've been right on. I kind of.
The problem with the Clippers is Paul George is pissing down his leg again. I mean, he just can't. The playoff Paul George is just embarrassing.
What did our boy Dean always say, man? Going like, pressure isn't a thing, clutch isn't a thing.
There's no such thing as clutch.
Yeah, you watch these guys, and the same guys choke every year. The same guys crush every year. I mean, yeah. To say that is just, I mean, Paul George.
I love our boy Dean, but that his take, because it all started with like Damian Lillard. Like, how can you make the argument that Dame is not clutch? Like, you cannot make
the argument that Paul George doesn't piss down his leg, because he does.
I'm okay with saying it when like you have enough sample. Like when people are like, oh, this young dude like that just like starts.
I mean, if it's one time, then that could be lucky.
Yeah, I know. Like sometimes people do that all the time. Like they use clutch way too much, right? But there's like Paul George, like, man, and he even said the worst part is Paul George said this year, like, I'm gonna show up, right? Like he basically like owned it. He kind of like took some blame of saying it was the bubble's fault and he wasn't in a good place.
It was the bubble's fault.
It was not it. Like he is just, it's been brutal. So. But Paul George, we'll see if he bounces back. DFS wise, it'll be interesting though, because I hear talks that Cousins might play more and
Title Town. He's going to the game and he said the Nets is the value side. Title, give me those MMA bucks. Let's go, Title.
Slide right in, Title. So
slide in, Title. I'll take the Nuggets too. You can have both your sides, the Nets and the Suns in game 3s.
There you go.
The other funny part about the Nets, the Nets Bucks series is PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker's the guy that's going to slow down Durant. Like, why even have PJ? Like, what's the point? You're not slowing down Durant with anyone on your roster. Why have PJ Tucker on the court? I mean, Boonhole, he's a retard though, so who the hell knows? Like, there's no point to have Tucker on the freaking court. There's just no point. He's not going to slow down freaking Durant.
I mean, it's that or Brook Lopez though. That's the problem. Brook Lopez is not it. So I think they got to go more Giannis at the 5, but we shall see. I know people in the chat, they're getting excited for some baseball talk. We're getting there. Don't worry. It's only 6 games. We'll easily get through that. I promise you. Big T, give me any final NBA thoughts, and then we'll move on to some MLB.
I mean, I think we covered it. It's been very hurtful the last week, basically. I mean, just own too. All those games, I have never even had a chance, really. just straight. Just what's the fourth series? Atlanta
and Philadelphia.
Yeah, I went 1-1 in those, so I didn't really get either way in that. Yeah, I mean it's been a tough week, so I'm looking to rebound tonight with my friggin' nemesis Milwaukee team. I like Utah a lot tonight too. So the crowds, well, that's one thing we could talk about too that I don't think gets talked up enough. This Phoenix crowd has been freaking incredible. Like they go nuts all night long, and Utah was kind of the same way with just a great crowd. I think we forgot last year in the bubble. These crowds mean something. I don't care what anyone says. They definitely, a team like Phoenix, it helps them a lot. And it hurts Denver a lot. They're a bunch of young guys still.
Yeah, and it hurt Portland because they weren't the first game or so. They weren't allowing barely.
They didn't have any fans in there. And Denver really didn't either. That was a weird series.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the crowds definitely do matter. I feel like you've seen it a little bit in golf too. Like, I mean, it's not a shocker. Like Morikawa, like when he won that major, like there was no crowds, right? Of course, now I'm not saying Morikawa can't win one now, but I'm just saying like that stuff for younger guys and that have not been.
You better hope Snyder's not listening. You're in trouble.
I love Morikawa. I bet him for that one. I'm watching to see because it's not an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? That's all with these younger guys. It's tough. I mean, you see Fee now, he's still trying to get that, real win under his belt. Cause I think he won one, but it was that terrible event. Like no one really counts it, but that's enough talk on that.
Week in golf. If I didn't have that big hit, it would be just an awful week. Cause I took freaking Sungjae in golf too. I never play Sungjae. Sungjae has a small noodle. I never play him and I played him and he sucks.
Tony, it's not over. It's Thursday.
Well, I'm not quitting. Believe me. I'm not even I'm more tilted that I played him than what's happening.
Yeah.
I just can't believe why am I playing Giannis and Sungjae? Like Sungjae was freaking, what was he? 9,700. What am I doing?
That's fine. You know what we're going to do, Tony? We're going to write this ship and we're going to get it right for you on this slate. And this is a slate where
baseball's easy tonight. It's the good news.
Yeah. So I opened this slate and I was laughing looking at it because I was like, okay, Big T is on the slate with me and Hoop. And of course we're cash guys. You got the Twins and Yankees who are like mega chalk today. And they always let us down. So I was like, man, we gotta like have a conversation about this and how to approach it on this slate. So we'll discuss it. Let's get slate strategy though from you, Tony. You say this slate is really easy. Why is it so easy? Is it because of what I just talked about there? Because I think that's going to be really chalky on this one.
These are the slates where I mean, knock on wood, I just feel like they're just super easy, and I think people overcomplicate it trying to do different things and talk about friggin' whatever they talk about, spin rates and whatever hard hit rates and friggin' whatever other stats they throw at you. You have two clear pitcher plays in my opinion, and you have two clear stacks in my opinion. We can play guys at the bottom of lineups. We can do things to get different. We can play a one-off somewhere to get different. I mean, you have two pitchers and two stacks, so just sign me up basically for that, and I'll try to get different somewhere else.
Interesting. Hoop, how are you feeling about this slate? Again, I opened it up and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. Because again, I think there's just an obvious path to go to. What's your kind of thoughts overall on this slate?
Yeah, I mean, 6-game slate. I mean, we don't have a ton of options. One of the games, the weather looks a little bit iffy, San Fran and Washington. So potentially only a 5-game slate here. But I mean, that's one thing where me and Big T are pretty much the same. When it comes to pitchers on DK and the way the pricing is set up, for me, there's no reason to get cute at pitcher on DraftKings on most slates. And, Big T, I think, has done a great job of kind of following that trend throughout the season. I follow his core plays every day. And I mean, really, you haven't made any like bold stances at the pitcher position all that much. I mean, you're sticking with the guys that are good. And it's paid off, right? I mean,
I literally don't like, I have an issue where I always end up liking a few hitters that aren't the main guys, where it's hard for me not to pay up at pitcher because I put the hitters in and I have enough to play the top pitchers. So it's like, why in the world am I not just playing them? And even if they have a bad game, they're still giving you a floor where it might be better than the crappy guys' good games. And it's worked for me. I love listening to everyone else like try to make cases for whoever, like Ryu tonight. Like, why would you play Ryu against a team that pounds lefties like the White Sox over the two stud pitchers? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Why? And he won't be like crazy owned, but I bet he gets to 20%, 25%. And all those pitchers that get owned, all of a sudden when we get to the end of it, we'll have both of the pitchers that should be close to 100% owned, like 50 and 60 or something. So half the ownership, and that's still high owned to some people. To me, I look at it the opposite way, and I'm thinking, well, half the field didn't play Trevor Rogers, and he's clearly elite. So I just think it's easy. I think baseball's easy. I know I keep saying it. Give me the lineups, give me the pitchers, and I don't need anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. Like the Mets yesterday, I like the Mets a ton, and I was like, okay, like just got to find a way to make it different. Like getting a.
Did you get both those double dongs from those?
I didn't get both. And the reason why is I wasn't, I don't know, it could have been a mistake, right? I wasn't paying up at pitcher all the way. I went, and I thought pitcher was kind of tougher yesterday. I went, and it could have been wrong. It's something I'm still kind of thinking through. I went Corbin and Gomber, right? And I didn't really want to go Corbin, but I just could not I just couldn't get things to fit. I think part of that was part of my issue as well.
But yesterday's a good example because I did the same thing you did yesterday. I think it's a good example. Like, why didn't we just play Garrett Cole?
What did he end with? I have
no idea. Like, that's why I'm not even being results oriented.
Spin rate's down. You can't play him.
I don't know why I didn't play him. Like, why would I play Patrick Corbin over Garrett Cole? Like, I admitted it too early in the slate before. I wasn't being results oriented. I just thought that I don't know why I didn't just play Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I thought they're the same thing. But I'm trying to see what he did yesterday right now real quick because I can't even remember. He went 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. Yeah, I mean, he did fine. Like, he was probably better to play him. So,
Corbin's been awful all year. So I don't know why I talked myself into playing him. Tampa Bay's lineup was bad. And they strike out a bunch. But why would it just doesn't make sense?
You probably did it because, like, I'd say because Tampa Bay's just been so bad against lefties, right? Like, but I think the lineup's gotten a little better. But it is what it is, right? We move on to the next one, but definitely something I thought about. I'm thinking through on this coming up slate. And I'm kind of with you guys. Like, I think you just kind of go up to the top and pay for these two guys. Like, I don't want to play a Ryu. Like, I don't want to play a Mike Minor against the A's when I know they're just going to throw out a ton of righties against them. I don't hate a Frankie Montas at 8-1. Like, I think he's okay, but
Kansas City just never gets owned though.
That's the thing. Yeah. And they also don't strike out a ton, which is a problem. Like, a lot of these pitchers I just don't like. Hoop, you're kind of in agreement. So you said it a little bit, but like, is there anyone you could even talk yourself into? Because I just don't want to. And I don't want to just talk about pitchers for 5 minutes and move on, but I'm just trying to think through all these other options.
We can talk about it when it's that easy.
Yeah, I mean, pitchers to me, it's a spot where I typically just don't complicate things in cash games or even in tournaments. I mean, I don't play a ton of tournaments, but when I do, when I build more than, a few teams, I stick to a tight core. And today, like, why would you play some of these dudes? Like, to me, there's like 3 guys that are playable: Scherzer, Rogers, and then Montas. But I can't see myself really playing anyone else. Like, if people are going to be on Ryu, like, have fun. Like, you're paying 9.7 for him. I'm not playing his ass here. To me, it's just an easy position. No need to get cute here.
All right, well, I'll give the chat a couple seconds to give some questions, right? Maybe they can ask some questions and we can see what we could do. JSU is in the chat saying, imagine fading a 2% Wayno Big T. Do you want a rebuttal to Mr. JSU for that one?
I mean, all I do is take L's these days. So, I mean, I might as well give him a W too. I mean, congratulations, JSU. Give Big T another L.
Must be nice to win 126K like 2 days ago and say, I just take L's all the time.
That's the crazy part. I've had a lot of bad days this week too. It feels like I've been wrong about a ton of stuff. It was just that one day that I did good. The life of a tournament player.
Yep. Mike Minor, any interest in that hoop against the A's? I know Tony talked a little bit about not wanting to do it. Do you have any interest? Someone in the chat is asking.
If the weather is too bad in Washington, which we do need to monitor because it looks like there's a chance of rain on and off all night. Still, 2.5 hours until that game starts, so we should be able to get some more clarity on that. These are guys that would start to creep into play a little bit if we lose Max.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning. So the game is in Washington, right? They play the Giants. I believe last game, it's probably last game of series, or is it the start of the series? I'm blanking on which one it is, but because maybe they just
they're starting the series.
Yeah, are they? Yeah, they're starting the series. So Actually, they will have a chance probably to play it on Saturday if they wanted, so that is worth mentioning. We'll be monitoring that though in the Discord chat. So use that code RPS Heater 25 to sign up, get 25% off, and get in the Discord
chat. The more I look at this, it looks like there is a pretty nice window for that game to get in. It's gonna rain up until about 7, and then there's like 4 hours where there's nothing. So I feel pretty good about it for now.
All right, Big T. Give me your final thoughts. Pitching. It's just that easy. Play the two guys at the top and move on.
Kind of like what Hoop just said. The only way I would do something different is if this weather gets bad. Because that's another thing I do in baseball. I don't really mess with the weather that much. If it looks significant risk, I just won't play Max, and maybe I'll go a different direction. But I would have to be pretty nervous to not play Max in this spot because it is a great, great spot against this lineup. If I didn't play him, then all of a sudden I would lock in Trevor Rogers and then go down to, for sure, Mike Minor in that big ballpark, somewhat cold weather. He would be my next guy. I'd actually put him ahead of Frankie Montas by a hair. I think he'll be lower owned, and I like the matchup slightly better than Montas. But those would be my two guys if we lose Max somehow because of weather.
Big T, let me ask you about FanDuel real quick. Max is 11K, Trevor Rogers 10-1. It's easy to get whatever you want really on FanDuel. I get that. But when do you start saying, hey, I want Rogers over Max? Is it when you stack it with a chalky game, or are you just getting different with the bats? Are you just playing Max and moving on, or is Trevor Rogers
No, I mean, I would play. I like Trevor Rogers a ton. I think he has as much upside as Max tonight or close to it. So with that little bit of weather concern, I actually like Trevor Rogers more on FanDuel because great ballpark, great matchup, no weather concern, zero risk. I mean, always in Washington, you have at least a little bit of risk. We've seen them cancel games without even rain before. So on FanDuel, it's even easier for pitcher for me because I love Trevor Rogers. He's a little bit cheaper. He'll probably be lower owned if the weather holds up for Max. I might honestly just play Trevor Rogers and maybe 75% Trevor Rogers, 25% Max, or if we lose Max, maybe go down to one of the other guys.
All right, Hoop, same question to you on FanDuel. You obviously play there a bunch. How are you handling Trevor Rogers versus Max?
I mean, if I can't play Max Scherzer, I'm going to find a way to play Trevor Rogers. I think it's one of those guys. But like I said, I think just kind of looking at the radar, I just pulled it up and looking at the forecast, I think we're going to be okay with Max. I don't think we're going to have to really, make additional plans because we lose Max. I think it's going to be fine.
All right, let's move on and talk about the catchers. First up at the catcher position, again, we have a nice slate, 6-gamer, and we got Gary Sanchez against the lefty, and we'll have to talk about these Yankees. We also get at the bottom. I think the Astros are a team that we'll talk about a little bit. They've been hot and on fire, and I like the punt catcher at times, and Martin Maldonado is down there at 2-2. So we got a guy at the top that'll definitely be popular and a guy at the bottom that will be popular. We'll go to you first, too. How are you handling the catcher position?
Yeah, I think it's, we kind of talk about catcher a lot, and I kind of feel this way more slates than not, where I either want to go all the way up or just come all the way down. There's few slates where you kind of get in between. I think yesterday was one where we could kind of get in between. That Stevenson guy was batting 4th. He was, I think, right around 4K. There's a few guys right around 4K. But most slates, I want to get up or go down. Gary Sanchez at the top, I think is a fine spend. I mean, the Yankees have the highest team total on the slate by quite a wide margin, approaching 6 against J.A. Happ. I mean, they're built to beat up J.A. Happ, so they will be popular, but Gary Sanchez would be my preferred spend. If I'm coming down, you got Maldonado, like you said, at 2-2, he's batting 8th. And then whoever catches for the Twins, I'm going to have some interest in as well tonight. So that's kind of my player pool at catcher. It's going to be Gary Sanchez at the top, Twins catcher, Maldonado. Just all depends, what you do. The catcher, it's not a priority position. Like, this is going to be a position that I probably fill out last.
All right, Big T, how about you? What are you doing with the catchers? You paying up or are you paying down?
Yeah, I'll be for sure playing a catcher in the Yankees game. My favorite guy is Jeffers for sure, 2,600. He hits bombs too. Like the other night, he got robbed of another. I think everybody that strokes to the barrel rate or whatever. Like I seen the thing going on Twitter where he just smoked a ball and somehow it wasn't a home run. The guy robbed him on the wall or something. The dude hits bombs and he's 2,600. So he would for sure be my top guy, especially because we want to play the two pitchers. I like paying 2,600. He hit fourth or fifth the other day. He'll probably hit fifth again tonight. He is clearly like, I like him more than Gary, and Gary's 2K more than him. This is a good example too of what I do in baseball a lot. Even if I could play Gary, I would still rather play Jeffers, just not talking the rest of my team, the correlation. Just if I had to pick between those two, I'd rather play Jeffers than Gary and leave 2K on the table. I think 99% of other people would just play Gary if they had the 4,600. I'd rather play Jeffers, so I would rank them 1, 2. I'm not going to play anyone outside of the Yankees game at catcher.
How would you handle Big T if you get the other guy in there, right? Ben Vet.
Yeah, that's where I would put Gary 1 and him 2. I hope Jeffers is in there though, because he's way better than the other dude. But the other guy, how much is the other dude?
He's so 2K for Rover. So
he's 2K.
Yep, 2K.
Yeah, I mean, so on DK where I want to pay up for both pitchers, I probably would rank him ahead of Gary. Actually, Gary just hasn't been that great. I don't want to pay 4,600 for him. He hasn't been. What's his numbers versus Hap? He's 2 for 11 with 4 strikeouts, 1 bomb. So
Gary Sanchez started one of the not a lot of people know this, but Gary Sanchez started one of the original Big T heaters probably 4 or 5 years ago, right?
It's been a minute ago for sure.
Yeah, people were hating. I mean, because remember the stat geeks were, his hard hit rate and his strike block, throwing out all these stats, and you just get up there and hit a bomb every single day.
Every single day.
Big T and Hoop played him every single day, and it worked out well for a while.
He was definitely the first guy that came through for us a long time ago. He is not so good anymore, though. The hard hit rates were eventually buckled off on him because
the regression on his swinging strikes and hard hit rate and barrels finally hit.
The good thing is we can adjust to that, though. That's why I don't really get into the stat stuff, because now that he hasn't done good, what do? We just don't play him as much. And when he was hot, we played him every day. So you can just adjust to if the dude's doing good or not. Yeah, so give me the Minnesota catcher ranked number 1, and then Gary, assuming Gary's for sure. And I think Higgy played yesterday, so I'm sure Gary probably plays today, but Gary be number 2 for me.
Yeah, so speaking of struggling hitters, let's go to first base and talk about chalk DJ LeMahieu, where you can play him at first or second, but he is available at the first base position. You also have those twins. Miguel Sano is available, but you also have Big T's boy, Danny Santana against Greinke. Big T, I'll go to you to talk about the first base position. There's a lot of routes you can go. I think Josh Bell against Desclafani could be in play. You have just a ton of ways that you can go. So break it down for me. Which way are you going on this slate?
Yeah, unfortunately, Danny Santana's not in the lineup today. So
he's not. I don't
get to play my boy Danny. He got robbed last night too. He hit a bomb dead center, like all the way to the wall in that huge ballpark, and got caught like right at the wall. But
why is he not in the lineup? I just assume
I don't know. You would think he would be against a guy like Greinke, but not in there. So first base is a lot weaker. I mean, it's going to be the theme of the show. Like I said, I think this slate's easy. I always think I can correlate differently, play guys at the bottom. I know Hoop talks about it a ton. Mangone's talked about it. I'm not scared to leave salary and play guys at the bottom of the lineup. So I'm going to stick mainly with the Yankees game. It's going to get boring listening to it. But I look at the rest of the position. I don't see anyone else that sticks out. I mean, guys will play Vladdy Guerrero at 5,400 against Keuchel, who never really gets bombed on. I don't love that. I mean, maybe you could play a guy like Josh Bell. I just don't like these guys as much as the Minnesota guys. Miggy Sano hit a bomb yesterday. I hope he's in the 7 hole so that you can play him at 3,500. Kirilloff will be in there, I'm sure. Higher in the lineup, lefty, righty. So I think a lot of people would just play Kirilloff, even though he's at outfield. DJ LeMahieu too. I don't know. I'm just going to stick with that game, and I would rank them Miguel Sano number 1 for sure. Kirilloff number 2, and then DJ number 3, because DJ has sucked. I have a hard time playing DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, he has not been that good. I do want to mention with Sano, because it was something I was looking at earlier. I was just like, Sano's kind of streaky, right? And he's been playing a lot better right now. I mean, just look at the logs, right? 5, 7, 16, 16, 6. And then it goes to a 0, 0, 0, 0. And then like a 2. Like he is just a streaky kind of guy. Hoop, are you going to Miguel Sano or are you going to the struggling DJ LeMahieu at first?
I mean, if I'm going to play LeMahieu, it's going to be at second base. I'm not going to play him at first base. But I want to stick in this game. I agree with Big T, and we've been talking about it for years. I mean, if you want to, a lot of people get to games that they know are going to be popular. I mean, this game's going to be the most popular game on the slate by a wide margin. That does not mean that you have to fade the game. I mean, that means that, hey, if you don't, that means you need to get unique with your builds, do things differently, do wraparound stacks, go to the bottom. The good thing about this game, both these teams are going to put lineups out where you can play guys at the bottom of the lineup. Some teams don't have that option. They'll put a lineup out, guys 7, 8, 9, they're dead hitters. You don't want them. These teams, they're going to be guys in the bottom of the lineup that you can play. So yeah, I'm on these guys, Sano, Karloff. One more guy not in this game at first base, Josh Bell, 4.1K. I think he's a fine option at first base.
All right. There's one more
deal real quick. So the chat was talking about this Gittins dude from the Yankees. Yes. If he's in the lineup at 2K, I hope they put him like way at the bottom so that because another guy that we're going to get to in a minute, Andahar, has been hitting great. Finally, he's been picking it up. So those are the type of things Hoop's talking about. Like, give me this Gittins dude and Andahar, and then I can play anyone else I want. I can play anybody else in the game because I'm different right there. And you just leave it. And what so many people will do, and I think this is the mistake they make, they'll do what we're saying, and they'll play mostly all the guys from this game, but then they'll sprinkle in like the Juan Soto on their team or the whoever the studs are. They'll just randomly put them in their stacks. And it's like, yeah, well, I had the salary to get up to Juan Soto. No, play freaking Chris Gittins over Juan Soto. Yeah, people are probably laughing at that sentence. But baseball, correlation over anything for me. And I know it sounds crazy to play some dude you've never heard of over Juan Soto. But if you're jamming this game, just play this damn game. Don't throw in one random Juan Soto. If you do throw a random one-off, throw in a guy that's low owned as a one-off. I mean, as we go to positions, maybe I'll find someone, but I don't know. Like I'll find someone as we go as an example.
Yeah, and the problem is, so like Alex is saying, like just play Gardner lefty, right? Look for stuff like that where like people won't want to be willing to do that, which I kind of agree with. Alex said that in the chat.
Gardner lefty is a great way to get different, especially if he's down in the 8-9 hole.
Tony, here's one thing I want to ask you because I know your spots. Gary says, how do you not play Gurriel tonight at only 4K? You only play Gurriel against a righty, right? You don't play.
And that's the example of stuff I never do. Like I would never play a guy like that as a one-off. I just wouldn't. Like, I think that's bad in tournaments. I think that is not what you should do.
And what's the reason behind it? Is because he's.
I just think correlation. Like when this game gets going and these teams start scoring, I want as many pieces as I can get. It's so hard to hit random pieces in different games. I mean, stacking has been proven to work for the last 7 years. We've freaking done this. People are trying to like recreate the wheel just because runs were down for a month to start the season. The weather's getting hotter. It's 100 degrees in Minnesota tonight. Why the hell am I playing Gurriel versus a decent pitcher like Eduardo Rodriguez when I can play a guy in this game? There's just no reason to do it.
Hoop, any final thoughts there? Do you agree with Tony? Disagree? Give us your take.
I fully agree. I mean, the theme of tonight is like you just don't need to get cute. I mean, and people will get cute, so you get an advantage by not getting cute. The weather, 95 degrees in Minnesota. 2 shitty pitchers. The total's 11, which is full 2 runs higher than any game on the slate. Why get cute?
And you know what other people do too? So this is where it gets everyone. Tons of people we know too do this. So they'll play 3 or 4 teams tonight on DK FanDuel. What do they do, Mangone? Oh, I'll have one Houston stack. I'll have one White Sox stack, and then I'll have 2 stacks where I have the Minnesota game. So all of a sudden, you're only 50%. And you burn 2 other teams that you shouldn't have burned. Just go in there and play this game and don't waste teams. Or you know what? If you don't like this game, don't waste 2 teams on this game and go other directions go away from it on all of them. Why are you splitting your teams? Sean V always is wrong. Sean V, have you ever picked a winner in your life? The Twins will score 2 runs. Have you ever picked a winner?
I don't know about the Squares not scoring 2 runs, but I'll say this. I might not play the Twins as much as the Yankees. Like if I had to pick a side I like the most, I'd probably go with the Yankees. Like let's say you did decide to not play one side. Which one would it be? Because obviously we're talking a lot about this game. Would you not play the Twins or the Yankees, Tony?
Well, I mean, the Yankees are going to be the mega of the night. Like everyone's going to play so the Twins might end up actually way lower owned than you think. Like I think that everyone's going to want to play the Yankees going against Hap. The Minnesota might shock you how low owned they come in tonight.
All right. Hoop, any thoughts on that? Like, do you think Minnesota comes in lower owned, higher owned? What's your thoughts?
Minnesota will definitely be lower owned. I mean, New York is going to be the most popular team, by a wide margin. Twins will obviously be the second, but I think there is going to be a big gap between Yankees and Twins.
All right, let's move on over to the second base position. And I mean, we can still talk about DJ LeMahieu if you would like. I mean, he is there, but there's also Jorge Polanco for Minnesota. You have Jose Altuve against a lefty, and these Astros, they get a lefty and Eduardo Rodriguez, but the runs can pile up a ton. So, Tony, I'll go over to you. What are you doing with the second base position?
So always with Minnesota, they've struggled all year, but the one guy that comes through for me always against right-handed pitching is Polanco. He'll be in the 1 hole more than likely. He rakes against righties. Polanco is basically, you can play him at short too, I just realized, but he is a lock for me tonight. There won't be any teams I make without Jorge Polanco. So he's for sure number 1. Obviously, you can play LeMahieu. I'm trying to stay away from LeMahieu just because he hasn't shown any upside. I don't mind playing him if he fits in your build and, like I said, correlation. But I'm trying to stay away from DJ LeMahieu. So I hope he's in the 1 hole because people will play him. And we use some ownership on a guy I don't really want to play in that game. So I put him behind. I mean, if you're not going to that game, you do have a couple one-offs in this game that I think you could play, or in this position, I should say. Both Altuve, who's been raking, he's against a lefty in Boston, obviously with the Green Monster there. You always like righties there, especially against the lefty. So you have to like Altuve a little bit. And Jazz Chisholm against a bad Chi-Chi. Bad park for hitting, but he's got speed. He's also in the 1 hole for 5K. I don't think many people are going to play him. You got Odor in that game, lefty. I don't think very many people are going to play Odor lefty against Hap. So that's kind of a Yankees guy. He's been bad, though. I think I saw he's 0 for 11 against Hap. That's a little concerning. I know it's not a big sample for all the people like, oh, it's not a big sample. But if a dude's 0 for 11, that's a little worrisome for me. I like to at least see some sort of success in the past. So for me, this could be a position, honestly, where I don't love it. I might just play Polanco on all my teams at second base.
It is one of those things, sorry, we talked about it before, and that's why I bring it up, like the clutch thing, right? Like sometimes you see a guy and like you kind of know like you've hit him before in the past, and it maybe gives you a little bit of confidence going to the plate, right? At least
if you're 0 for 11 versus a guy, I don't care. Like that going, and these guys have stats now too, where for a fact going into tonight with the scouting report, he's like, I'm 0 for 11 against this guy. It can't feel good. I mean, maybe it works the other way, and he's like, I gotta get a hit or I gotta do this. But no matter what, you're 0 for 11. It's like hooping the cornhole pits next weekend. He's going to be 0 for 11 in the cornable pits.
Working on my game. Revenge is in sight. I mean, and you know what? We're not doing the same bullshit where you take me to the middle of the lake, windy conditions. Yes, you're more experienced.
For the record, you picked that spot.
You're going to beat me down in that location. I'm up against the house. We're up against the house. Wind's not a factor. Where you admitted, not on camera, you admitted Hoop's much better than I thought he was. And hey, you know what? Don't take cornhole shots at me anymore. We're together. We're teammates.
We are. Mangone was rooting us on.
Mangone was part of that. Mangone was part of it. He was the only. I will give Mangone credit. We had about 30 dudes behind us yelling against us every toss. Mangone came to the rescue in his sandals when it was like 40 degrees in the backyard, and he was rooting on his boys. Felt good.
When we chest bumped after we won, that was the best. That was one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. And they were really getting at you guys, too. That was
they were. That's what made it so fun. Hoop had to dial in it. They were behind Hoop.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of pressure. I mean, it was, right in my ear. I mean, they got me in the backswing a little bit, which kind of pissed me off. So I stepped away a couple times and just, kind of made my point like, hey, you can yell, you can cheer, but when I'm ready to toss, you shut your mouth. And that got us back on track and got us to victory.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And Hoop, if you're gonna try and get in their shot, like try and get like plus 500 odds, right? Not plus 300. Talk down on yourself. You know what I mean? Like that.
Right. Tony's a big fan. I mean, he's a beast in the pits. I mean, it's gonna take an upset for me to get a one-on-one victory against Tony.
Is Uncle T making this trip to try to get some more?
Uncle T, it's another story. Uncle T, the cornhole pits versus Hoop. It's a very sensitive subject, so I really don't want to go there. But the pits are always open if Uncle T wants a rematch. I will say that. We talk about Paul George in the playoffs pissing down his leg. Uncle T got in the pits with Hoop, and man, some of those tosses. I didn't see anything like that all weekend from Uncle T until he went one-on-one with Hoop and got in his head.
I didn't see it. I'm going to defend my boy Uncle T and say he'll get the job done next time. He won't look like that, but I didn't see it. I will admit I was not there to watch. It
was a low key one-on-one matchup. Like not many. I mean, it all started. Uncle T came to Hoop. Let's find some opponents, get in the pits. No one really stepped up, and he looked at Hoop and said, "You and me one-on-one." I said, let's go. And it was all history from there.
Well, I'm sure we'll all play a ton again, and it'll be fun to watch, and we'll be rooting everyone on. But let's move on. I don't think we got too much else to say. Or did you talk about second base, Hoop? I pulled a Holden. Did you get?
I am in lockstep with Tony. My favorite play at the position is Polanco, and we talked about Alex Dickerson earlier, where I said I think he's got me 0 fantasy points lifetime. When I play Polanco, he gets the job done for Hoop. So
we're locked arm in arm on both of those guys. Polanco always hits a dong for us.
Literally every time I play him, he gets the job done. It's every single time. I'm hoping people go to LeMahieu over Polanco at this position. I want Polanco. Altuve, if you're going to do a one-off or whatnot, this is the other guy, but simple position for me.
All right, let's go on over to the third base position. And at the top, you got 2 really good hitters, right? You got Devers against Greinke. You got Bregman against Rodriguez, both in the same game, and really good spend of options. You can go to a Josh Donaldson if you want, but I know we don't love playing Josh Donaldson here. I definitely don't. We'll go over to you, Tony. What on earth are you doing at the third base position?
Yeah, my least favorite position for sure. I hate Donaldson. I despise using him. Man, I hate when it's always him at third too. For whatever reason, third base has been my nemesis all year where I just don't like anyone. I mean, Donaldson had one good game a week ago where he went off. It just always ends up where he fits in my builds. Tonight I'll have 4 or 5 Yankees I like, and Donaldson will just fit. I should just play Gio Urshela tonight because he hasn't been great either, but I like him way more than Donaldson. The matchup's good. He's going to be crazy high owned too, Gio is, but that's fine. I mean, just play him in there. I just hate the position. You look at the rest of these guys. I mean, yeah, you could play Devers for 5,600, but I don't really want to. I don't want to pay that price for Devers as a one-off because I know I'm not stacking Boston. So I just don't want to do it. So I'm not going to play him. I look for the cheap guys. I mean, sure, you could punt with one of these guys. I mean, that's fine. I mean, play Hunter Dozier for 29 or any of these just scrub guys that you could throw in there. But I don't really want to do that. So, again, back to the Yankees game, Donaldson, Gio. I'll probably just play Gio. At least I want to play Gio. I know for a fact when I go to build my first team, though, the guy that's going to fit perfectly is Donaldson, I'm sure, and it's going to piss me off because it's always what happens. But sign me up for Gio.
Well, Big T, we got to talk about G Rising in the chat. You know what he's saying? He said, I spanked you all up till beer 15. You got to give it a bubble.
10 minutes into the trip, and then he died the rest of the trip. I mean, he's a front runner. You can't just die 10 minutes into the trip and then talk trash.
I mean, I died 10 minutes in the trip, but I wasn't talking.
You were still out there rooting, though. You came out and rooted in the sandals. G. Risen was legitimately – he had 47,000 Modelos the first day. I would, like, throw 3 bottles away. I'd go check on the kids, or I would do something. Come back, there'd be 3 more empty bottles. Like, I still don't know how he drank them that quick, but then he just died. It was very disappointing.
You guys missed it. I think when you were all asleep, Uncle T was like, "Where's G. Risen?" And out of nowhere, it was like Undertaker gif off the couch. Just G. Risen gets up and looks over at us. It was incredible. I don't know, Hoop, were you awake for that one?
Oh, I wasn't, but sounds like G. Risen.
Oh man, too good.
I had that furniture set how it was for you guys literally until like 2 days ago. I finally moved it back to the normal like alignment of the family room. It was sitting that way for like 2 months or however long it's been now.
Well, you had the good mojo going. You had to keep it going on. But,
yeah.
Hoop, talk about third base. Are you going to Gio, or are you paying up for Josh Donaldson or some of these other guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably just end up with Gio. I mean, good price tag. He's going to hit somewhere in the middle of the order for a team that's projected to score 6 runs. He'll probably have the most ownership here for that reason. Bregman's a fine option. Devers, I think the price tag will keep people off him. I actually kind of like him quite a bit in tournaments. I don't think a lot of people will go all the way up there. Donaldson, yeah, I mean, he's been disappointing, but I really like this game. I want as much exposure as I can get to this game. Bregman's kind of been turning on a little bit lately, so there's a lot of different ways you can go. But in cash games, it's probably Gio as an option. But if you're playing tournaments, I mean, play the guys that are in the stacks. If you're stacking other teams, you're stacking the Astros, obviously you're going to play Bregman. If you're stacking Boston, you're obviously going to play Devers. It's not a strong take for me at this position, but Gio is my preferred option. Decent price. I mean, 4K is a decent price for him in this game where, like I said, the Yankees have that team total approaching 6.
You are right, though. Like, Donaldson might end up being a better play because with Bregman at 5K and Devers at 56, I think a lot of ownership will go to those 2 guys. So Donaldson and Gio might secretly end up lower owned than I thought because of that.
Yeah, I do. I will say I typically like to find like a one-off at third base. So I feel like there's a lot of good power hitting third basemen that I can go to, but I don't know if the ownership's going up some of these other guys. I think you could make a good point. Basically, everything.
The sneaky one-off play might be Chapman, but he's been just awful.
Yeah, I was looking at him just now, and I was like, that could make sense, but yeah, he has not been the best. So tough to really get behind him. We're not playing, our boy Moncada. I love playing him, but not against the lefties, right? It's
not against Ryu for sure.
Yeah. I will say, guys, we got to get those likes up, right? Where are we at? We're at like 133 right now. We got 402 watching. So get those likes up. Of course, our producer loves it when you subscribe to the channel. We're getting close to 6K, so we appreciate that. Also want to talk about our sponsors over at SuperDraft. Use that code RUNPURE to get a $100 match deposit bonus. You can check it out on the core plays page. We have SuperDraft plays for NBA, so be sure to check all of that out. It's a great new way to play fantasy. It's not just playing guys within the salary cap. It's playing with the multiplier, and it's a way to get an edge on the field. But let's move on over and talk about the shortstop position. And we really got to talk about Carlos Correa against the lefty at 4.6K, someone that you cannot ignore on this slate. Tony, I know you're playing more of the Yankees. I think a lot of ownership is going to go to Correa. What are you doing with him and some of these other guys on this slate?
Yeah, I'm not playing Correa. It's funny because this spot is the opposite of third base. It's got a bunch of the guys that I consider splits guys. Everyone makes fun of me about my splits guys, but Correa against a lefty, Tim Anderson against a lefty, Jazz against a righty, Trey Turner always in a good spot, Bo Bichette against a lefty, split spot. You got a ton of really good plays. Even Brandon Crawford's been mashing, even though it's against Max. I think he's an interesting one-off play. But much like second base, I think clearly the best play of the night is Gleyber, who's been hitting very, very good lately, picking up some power, looking nice, in the best spot of the night. I'm glad how many great plays are there. I'm glad Correa's 4,600. I'm glad Timmy Anderson's against a lefty. I'm glad Pender's against a lefty. You got all these splits guys going to take up some ownership from people. I'm just going to play Gleyber. The more I'm looking at it, I'm going to play Polanco at second and Gleyber at short. And those are like the 2 best plays of the night for me. So I'm glad that other people can play. Gleyber's going to be owned. even pretending he's going to be low owned. Not at all. But the more ownership that goes other directions when I think he's clearly the best play, I'm good with that. And I think he's clearly the best play at a loaded position, honestly. This is the opposite of third base for me. I like all these guys, but I'm not going to play everyone. It's how I build baseball teams. I don't need to play 5 different guys. Just give me Glaber and I'll take my chances.
All right, how about you, Hoop? What are you doing at the shortstop position? One thing I'm thinking on this is I think Correa as a one-off is like a bad idea, just because I think he's going to have like ownership. And I don't know. I don't think I'd play him as a one-off. I think I'd definitely play him within the Astro stack, but I don't think I'm playing him as one of those one-off options.
Yeah, I mean, my 2 favorite guys here are in that, New York, Minnesota game, Torres and then Blanco. You can play Blanco here, second base or shortstop. Very similar price tags, 4.3 for Torres. 4.1 for Blanco. Trey Turner, I mean, 5.8K. I don't think a lot of people will go all the way up. And then Correa too. I mean, I don't mind Correa at 4.6K. So you have a lot of options here. If you're going to be stacking New York and Minnesota, you got Torres, you have Blanco, fair price tags. I mean, 4.3, 4.1. I do think these guys get the most ownership at the position, but Trey Turner in tournaments obviously always has upside, and then Correa as well at 4.6K. So a lot of different options here. And another guy you can kind of throw in there, Bogarts too. So there's a ton of guys to me that are in play. I prefer obviously New York, Minnesota. Going to be the popular route, but I don't care. I'll find a way to get a little bit different.
All right, Tony, we got solid picks in the chat. He's getting on you, and I gotta say it so you can respond. Big T, you taking all the chalk tonight. That's hurtful. You got to respond to this one.
I mean, people that have watched the show, I literally never have duplicated teams. So it doesn't matter when I take the chalk. I mean, I don't always do it, but if the spot is clearly the best play, I mean, we got 6 games. One of them has weather with 2 pitchers, Max and Discofini. I don't have any interest in going there. The other one, Eduardo and Greinke, is a decent spot with good offenses. The pitchers are good enough, though. Like, why are we trying? It's 64 degrees in Boston. It's 100 degrees in Minnesota. Go ahead and stack that game. Miami, for obvious reasons, great pitchers park. Why would I go there? White Sox, you got Ryu versus Keuchel. Neither one of them ever gets hit that hard. Why am I going there? Oakland, massive ballpark. It's one of those slates where, why in the world are you trying to get cute? Just take the money and move on. You might not win first place tonight. It's one of these slates, Mangone, we've talked about. Maybe you don't win first tonight, but you take that profit and you move on and you have a chance to win. Whereas if you try to play these other spots, you're going to lose. And maybe, who knows, maybe if you play the other spots, you do hit the one spot that goes off and you do ship. But that's not me tonight. I'm fine eating chalk at times. Give me the chalk tonight. Solid picks. I'll take the chalk tonight. I bet I'm unique, though.
Send those head-to-heads to Big T if you're not going to play that. Hey, Big T, how's that?
I'm upset about the head-to-head since Title got nervous on me. He got a little nervous. That's okay.
Title's going to be back. He's going to come full circle. The Bucks are going to win for him tonight. He's going to be in a better mood. He's going to build up his confidence.
He said he bet the Nets.
I know, but I don't know. It's one
what kind of a puss does that anyways? Goes to the game, roots for the Bucks, and bets the Nets. I mean, what is that, Title?
He's all over the map. I mean, he's all over the place.
I did that once, but it's because I knew that a player was out for Seton Hall, and I went to Seton Hall, so I knew the line didn't know it, so I went the other way, and I went to the game.
You were insider trading. I like that.
I had some info, so I just bet against it, and I said, hey, if they win, whatever, it'll be fun. If they don't, whatever. So it was a fun game, and I profited. Providence ended up winning, took my W and moved on. So just like taking the Yankees and the Twins. Let's move on over and talk about the outfield, which, hey, this is a great way to get different, right? If you are playing your Yankee stack, like, I'll tell you this, I'm not saying this is what you should do, but if I told you played no Aaron Judge and no Giancarlo in your Yankee stacks, like, you'll be very different, I think. Hoop, wouldn't you agree on that? If you faded both those guys, and I'm not saying you need to make your team different, but that's an instant way to be different if you'd like.
Yeah, exactly. If you play a guy like Clint Frazier, he'll probably be in the lineup tonight. He'll be at the bottom. No one's going to be on him. I mean, people are going to be on Stan. People are going to be on Judge. that's one way. I really hope we get this lineup pretty soon because it's kind of frustrating. I really want to see because we're talking about.
No, you're doing the problem. This is wrong. In the NBA, everyone says, I want the news. You want the news late, so we have the edge. We want this lineup late so people are not building these stacks, Hoop. You know that. We got to wait it out.
True. That's a good point. But for the sake of doing the show, we're talking about these guys. I want to see who's in here. Like if Andujar is in this lineup, I think he's a phenomenal play. I believe Tony talked about him a little bit earlier. So there's what position is he's on FanDuel? Andujar's third base or outfield.
Look at his box scores too. Like he's our secret weapon tonight. He's raking.
Yeah, so he's just outfield on DK. So definitely want to see if he's in there. That's ways you can get different. Yes, Stanton's a great play. Yes, Judge is a great play. Yes, their ownership is going to be extremely, extremely high. On the Minnesota side, another guy that I really like, and I hope he's in there, and I think he will be, is Trevor Larnach. And he's a guy that when he gets a hold of the ball, he hits bombs. He hits them deep. Karloff, you can play in the outfield. Basically, anyone on the Yankees or the Twins in this lineup in the outfield, I'm going to have some interest in. Outside of those guys, kind of like the Nationals a little bit more now that I'm looking at this. Kyle Schwarber, 3.8K against DeSclafani. They would probably be like my third team that I have interest in. Trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, really, I'm going to be heavily focused on the Twins Yankees. Let me see. I don't know. That's probably about it for me. Like I said, I'm going to be really in on that game, and not too much else is standing out to me.
All right. I do want to mention at the third base position on FanDuel, you can play Miguel Andujar there. So if you want, that's a way to be different, Tony, right? I mean, those are just like small ways that I look to kind of make my lineups different. Like play the catchers, right? I look for little small things to do and then just get the correlation going and then just hope the pieces kind of fall the right way. What do you think about that, Tony?
I mean, I know people are saying we're playing the chalk. I knew this was going to happen. That's why I said it when we first started talking about the hitters, because people will keep saying this, but then we'll get to these teams and we'll have unique teams with all these guys in it. It's happened to me and Hoop for the 7 years we've done this, where Clint Frazier's going to be so low owned tonight. And when he hits two bombs, it literally doesn't matter what else you got. You're just sitting on the nuts. And yeah, when you play Clint Frazier and Stanton hits two bombs and Judge hits one bomb and you feel dumb for doing it, what you don't realize is that everyone has that combination. You're not going to ship anyways with that exact combination. And again, like both of these guys said, we're not saying don't play Judge and Stanton, but if you play Judge and Stanton, be way different with your other side. Play this Celestino dude from Minnesota as your other outfielder. Play some people at the bottom of the lineup. I don't know who's going to be in there tonight for these teams, but just be different. Don't play Judge, Glaber, Stanton, Gio together. Please don't play those four together unless you're just doing something crazy with the rest of your team. That's how you get different, not by fading this game. I mean, this game is going to crush tonight. It's 100 degrees. Look at the rest of the slate. You got cold weather in Oakland. The White Sox is pretty hot, but Ryu and Keuchel never get hit hard. You got somewhat cold weather in Boston. It's 60 degrees. It's raining in Washington. There's weather issues there. It is by far the best spot tonight. Someone in the chat, I think G. Risen earlier, said, what if this was Coors? What would you do? You always fade Coors. If this was Coors in this same spot, I would go all in on Coors, just like I'm doing tonight with the Minnesota game. Yeah, I fade Coors for the most part. That's on like tonight would be different too if it was a 12, 13 game slate when we had other options to maybe fade it with a little bit. This is a 6-game slate with no offense besides this game.
Yeah, people are talking about the White Sox lineup. I don't even know if Mercedes is batting in second. We got to pour one out for K. Fallick. Nick Madrigal, he's done for 60 days, so no more making fun of.
Was he on the roids?
What?
Did he get caught cheating?
No, he's on the IL.
God, it would be amazing if he got caught cheating after all the tilt.
Nah, 60 IL for him, so we will not be able to make fun of K Phallic. So pour one out for that good time that we're able to have with him. Yeah, they got Mercedes batting second, and I think Engel's now in the lineup more for them. But again, not a team that I'm really targeting too much. Hoop, give me some outfielders here. How are you handling the outfield position?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm going to be more on the Yankees and the Twins game. Those guys at the bottom that could get in there: Clint Frazier, Andujar, who are the other Karloff I like. I mean, anyone that's in the outfield in this game, I'm going to have some interest in. Then, like I said, I like some of these Nats guys too, Soto and Schwarber. I definitely am interested in those guys. Yordan Alvarez, I do like him too. He hasn't really DraftKings refuses to bump his price like over 4K. He's 3.7 tonight. I think he is a good play as well.
All right, Big T. Someone has a question for you. He said, "Is it too many games to allow one bat versus a pitcher in a 150 build?" What's your thoughts on that, Big T?
No, it's not. This I consider this a short slate, and I don't think that's wrong at all. I know a lot of the smart people would tell you that's wrong, not to play a. I don't agree though. Like I think tonight you could easily play a guy like who's that dude I said Brandon Crawford. I think you could easily play a Brandon Crawford in your builds against Max Scherzer. If he's the one that hits a bomb off Scherzer and you're unique because of it, and Glaber goes 0 for 5, I mean, I think that's good. Yeah, when it's a 12-game slate, I definitely wouldn't do it. But this is a short slate where, honestly, we could have a lot of low-scoring games tonight, in my opinion. I don't see a ton of runs out there outside of the Twins game.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Loose 25 says, "I'm leaving 5,900 on the table on FanDuel." Hoop. What's your thoughts on that? Because sometimes I think it makes sense, but that's putting pitcher pretty hard. 5,900 is a lot. So what's your take on that, Hoop?
5,900 is a lot of money to leave on the table. I mean, I'm definitely a proponent to leaving some cheese on the table. Showdown slates, Big T and I always talk about it, like how you can leave big chunks of money on the table. 5,900.
It's what happens though. Like on FanDuel, this doesn't happen on DK. Like FanDuel, just look at the prices. Like if we play Clint Frazier and Andujar and two more cheap guys in that game, you're going to have a ton of salary. Yeah. This is why FanDuel, the edge in baseball for how we build teams, is probably higher than DK, because literally everyone hates leaving salary. So what do? They go from Frazier to Stanton. They go from guys like what's the crappy old dude's name? Grant. What's the lefty? I'm drawing a blank.
Who? What team?
The Yankees. The dude that's been there forever. I don't know how I'm drawing a blank.
Brett Gardner.
Yeah, Gardner. They'll go from Gardner up to Judge. And what always happens on FanDuel, they'll just play the Yankees 1 through 4, the Twins 1 through 5, instead of playing guys like Frazier and the catchers. Like no one plays the catchers as much on FanDuel. Sometimes you just leave a shit ton of salary, and I don't think there's a number that's too much as long as you're properly correlated with what we're saying. If you got 8 guys in the Yankees game tonight and it leaves whatever the guy said, 5,900, I don't think that's a problem.
All right. Big T, give me some final thoughts on outfield. You talked a little bit about it, but are there any other guys you want to discuss? Any one-off options? Like, again, I'm
definitely not playing an outfielder outside of the Twins game.
You're not playing like a Tucker or a Yordan, any of those guys, JD?
I mean, I tried to find one. I just don't like playing the like stud one-off guys like that. I was trying to find like some crappy one-off that I like. I just don't see it tonight though. Maybe like Andrew Vaughn or something. I don't know.
Like, I don't mind this stud one-off if I can get it like super low owned, right? Like if it's like just some, like Mitch Haniger was a great example you guys talked about on the show yesterday, right? Like I thought that was a really good example. I don't know. I don't see a ton of those tonight. That's when, I mean, I guess Nelson Cruz, he's not a one-off though, right? He's part of that game. He's going to be low owned, and he's Nelson Cruz. He can hit the ball off of anyone. So I don't hate him. I know people were talking about Mark Canha's BVP against Mike Minor. I saw that in the chat before. Let's see what it is. Cause I know we like a little BVP here. We're not saying it's the, it's the entire thing and that's all you should research, but let's see what the BVP is there. He's 6 for 13 with 6 for 15 with 3 bombs. So what's your thought on that one, Big T?
What was it?
Mark Canha is 6 for 15 with 3 bombs.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. ever play Oakland in that ballpark. So sometimes I just get, I don't know, like people that have watched my shows for the year, I just never play that ballpark ever. I hate that ballpark is enormous. Like I hate it. I mean, I do like that BVP though. That BVP is nice. I could play him as a one-off. Now that you said that, he's a late guy too, which doesn't sound like it means anything, but it's always nice to have that one-off that can maybe get you to the top of the charts late in the night. If I had to pick one, I do like Canada. And I got a totally weird guy that's treated me well. I always like to have at least one weird guy that I feel like always comes through for me. Again, picking on Scherzer, but my boy Hacksaw, Duger, he's been hot, man. He's been crushing, and he always comes through for me. He came through on my winning team the other night. Everybody played Wade in the 1 hole. I played Hacksaw in the 5 or 6 hole. I think he's a totally totally random one-off guy that I think could hit a bomb tonight.
All right. Well, I think that's good for us. Once we talk about some dude named Hacksaw, Duggar, whatever you're calling him.
Duggan, baby.
That
Mangone doesn't even know who Hacksaw was.
Yeah, I don't know. It was Duggar, right? I mean, it's Steven Duggar. That's the guy you're talking about.
Who?
Yeah, but
he doesn't know who Hacksaw is. Come on.
You never watch? Do you used to watch WWF?
Not when I was a kid. Yeah, I didn't watch it that much.
He had the blue tighties on. He'd always carry a hacksaw
The
around.
blue tighties.
Never saw it. So
and he'd say, "Ho!"
Yeah,
hopefully next show we can have you dress
the
up.
chat says, "Oh, they're gonna hear it in a minute too."
Yeah, they're all, it's catching up and they're all saying it. Jay said it. Now we got Travis saying it. They're all saying it. But let's move on and talk about the stacks. Guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're gonna have our stacks. Then we are going to move on to the plays of the day. This will be quick. Hoop, what are your stacks today?
Yeah, I mean, I think no secret we're all pretty focused on the Yankees Twins game. I mean, and we talked about it. Like, if you don't want to play the chalk plays, like different ways you could go to the bottom of the lineups. We don't have the lineups yet, like we said, but many different ways you can stack this up, and leaving salary on the table. Again, it's not the worst thing. I mean, 5,900 sounds like a big number, but maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. Who knows? I mean, if maybe the Yankees scored 10 runs and it comes from the bottom of the order, all those guys on FanDuel are going to be like the minimum price. So, and then outside of that, I do like the Nationals here against DeSclafani. They got a little bit of, since we came on the show, a little bit of momentum in their favor. The total came up a little bit. So I like the Nats probably as, my third team outside of the Yankees and Twins.
All right. Big T, how about you? Give me your stacks.
I mean, the chat is just all over you, like just killing you for not knowing who.
When did he like start in the? I mean, I was so young. It was 87 and 93.
Look at Jay Reed. Oh, I forgot to give the thumbs up. Oh,
was he only? I mean, I'm looking now. It says 87 and 93. Is that the only time? If that's the only time he was there, I was 3. I'd get a pass. I think. No, I guess there's longer for it. Like, was it in the late 90s?
You got to know who Hacksaw is.
Yeah, easily. Yeah,
that's criminal.
Yeah, I'm looking at the dates when he was around. Looks like he was in the late 90s. So maybe I should have. But again, I didn't watch WD that much, so that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, for the stacks for me though, I'm just playing those 2 teams. I'm not gonna even filter in the third stack. I got 4 teams on both sides tonight. I think FanDuel and DK. I've tried to play 3 or 4 teams most nights. I'm just gonna stack that game tonight. I know people made fun of me for being chalky. I'll be different though. I'll play some guys at the bottom. I'll do what I can to be different. Maybe sprinkle a one-off in there that's different. A guy like Hacksaw, I'll play a Hacksaw on a team tonight just as a totally random one-off guy. Those are the guys that usually win it for me. Just one random dude. But I'm going to jam this game and take my chances. If this game busts, I'll definitely lose tonight.
Yeah, I'm learning. He was arrested on April 29th, 2021. I don't know. He must have did something he shouldn't have done. So
Hacksaw did.
Yeah. He things we probably shouldn't talk about. So we'll just move on from there. So I'm learning a lot about Mr. Hacksaw on his Wikipedia.
You might have looked up a different Hacksaw. That might have been.
Maybe I did. I don't know.
That might have been a different industry.
But let's we'll move on. Let's go on over to the plays of the day. Hoop, give me your plays of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be someone that comes out of this game on the Twins. I'm going to go with the boy that me and Big T really like. It's going to be the 4X play of the day is going to be Jorge Polanco. I hope a lot of people go to LeMahieu, assuming he's in the lineup over Polanco. I like guys that treat me well, and Mr. Polanco tends to treat me pretty well. So Polanco is going to be my play of the day.
All right, Big T, we'll go over to you while the chat keeps talking about the WWE. Whenever you bring that up, or WWF, they always get going with it. So it's good times in the chat. Big T, give me your play of the day.
Yeah, I wish we had these lineups because that's going to kind of determine the low-owned play for me. Like we're assuming Clint Frazier is going to be in there. I hope he's in there. I'll say Clint Frazier, but if Clint Frazier is not in there, it's going to be somebody at the bottom of these lineups that has some power that I think can be low owned. Optimally, I would want an outfielder for my workbench play tonight because everyone's going to play Stanton and Judge with one other outfielder probably from Minnesota or a different side. No one's really going to dumpster dive in the outfield because of that. So I want some random outfielders in there. And I'll say Clint Frazier. I hope he's in there. I'm not 100% sure he'll be in there, but I'll go with him tonight.
All right, Big T, I'll do you a favor. I'll give you another play, and it's one that you liked, and I kind of got it from you on this show, and I'm definitely playing him on FanDuel at my third base position. I'm playing Miguel Andujar. That's another guy that's a good one, and I'll piggyback off kind of you.
That's a good one, too. That one's better than mine. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to put
He's been raking. Like, he has been crazy. He's my favorite play. I'm with Mangone. That was too good of a pick.
So there we go. That'll wrap it up for us, those guys. Check out Holden, JSU, and I believe Draft Cheat coming up next. They will give you all of the plays over on the final count.
William Bartholomew says, I'm with Mangone. Total wrestling I've seen in 40 years is less than an hour. That's terrible. That's a pathetic take, William Bartholomew.
Yeah, it's not all that great now, but I mean,
it's awful now, but it was great.
In the 90s, it was the Stones. I mean, it was the absolute Stones.
It's terrible now. Yeah, if you said the last 10 years you haven't watched it, then that I can support that. But if you didn't watch it at all in the 90s and early 2000s, then that's a bad take.
You're missing out.
Yeah, but we got to wrap it up. We got to get out of here. Thanks a lot for joining us. For me, Mangone Hoop, and Big T. See you guys later.